low-level scum suckers of the earth.
They're monsters.
The people, the neighbors, everybody wants to hurt everybody, it seems like nowadays.
Plus people are sick.
Too many monsters.
The guy hiding behind the bushes in the trench coat.
A social expectation, if you will, for men to be perverts.
Men are attracted to younger women.
Trolling playgrounds, and we're trolling people on the internet and lurking in the bushes with our trench coats and our candy and our puppies.
You don't know people. They could be murderers. They could be pedophiles or rapists or kidnappers.
You're overwhelmed and you probably don't even want to walk out of your house sometimes because you've got sex offenders all around you.
So we have 7 sex offenders in North Little Rock that are homeless. That in itself does cause a problem. Sex offenders who are homeless are just that. They're homeless. They can't be found. We don't know where they are at any given time. He's considered a sexually dangerous person. We don't want this guy homeless. You know, and as it stands right now, there's nowhere for him to go. Shelters won't take a sex offender. So halfway houses don't take sex offenders. So I would much rather see him in a halfway home, somewhere that someone can put eyes on him.
If this person's really a threat to society, do you want this person just roaming the streets all day? You know, rather than working, rather than paying rent and making a living, making an honest living and trying to become a productive member of society. Everything we're doing is counterproductive because no thought went into how these laws are going to actually work.
I'm homeless. This place here don't let us come here until 5 o'clock. We sleep outside of the buildings, in bushes, anywhere we can find a place to sleep at. It's bad. I mean, I ain't ate in 2 days. They don't give you nothing to eat. They don't let you drink water here. You got to walk down the street and you're hoping you can find some place you can drink water, wash your clothes. I had on these clothes for 5 days because I can't wash them. I ain't got no more other clothes to put on. And if anyway y'all can better our, it's a lot of us here. It's a lot of us here. And half of us don't have money. We ain't got family. I stay way in Homestead, but they got me come way down here. And so I got to stay down here for 10 years. Unless I get somebody to give me some money, give me somewhere to stay. And I hope I can find something to stay, because I got a family, but I can't go back down to Homestead. So, because I'm a sex offender. They don't care. They don't care about us. I mean, you know this place don't feed us. Yeah. It ain't no place we can go eat at unless if you got some money, yes. But ain't nowhere we can eat way down here. They ain't got no place, no shelter place that we can go eat at. Walmart, they got a little store, convenience store, that they sell hot dogs. They got a restaurant right down the street, right there, that blue place. It's a restaurant there. If you got money, you can go in there and eat, but they ain't gonna let you eat free.
Here's the bottom line. You got a guy who can't find a place to live. Maybe he could live with mom and dad. Maybe he can move back in with his wife and kids, but he can't because there's a school across the street from him. So meanwhile, he's living in his car. He's living out in the woods. We don't know where he's at. He could be homeless for all we know. So would you rather him live at home where we know where he's at, or would you rather him live out in the middle of the woods where we don't know where he's at?
I remember him telling me that if I ever told that they would take him away and he would never be able to see me again. And that was like the worst thought for me. He was my dad and I loved him. And I didn't like what he was doing, and there came a point in time when I was 14 years old when I realized that I had a say in it, and that if I didn't want it to happen, it didn't have to happen if I said no. I realized I had a voice, and that was nightmarish. But I'm glad that it happened that way, because it helped me to feel less like a victim, saying no and going through the things that I had to go through when I said no, like being overly punished. The littlest thing, I got the hugest punishment, and like not being able to ask for any lunch money, because if I asked for lunch money, then I had to let him touch me. The more I tell my story, the more free I am. I can't imagine if an abuser were to say, I have this issue and I would like to get help for it. They would automatically assume that he is abusing, because that's what pedophiles do. They don't realize that that's not necessarily the case.
Sex offending is behavior that comes out of a mental illness, out of a mental disorder. Healthy people do not rape or molest children. These are people who've been injured themselves and are now hurting others.
You see it on the news, and you just hear what what the guy was arrested for, and you had that worst fear of, oh my gosh, that's a horrible person. Hang them up by their toes, pull their fingers out one by one. And that's what I used to say when I saw it on the news. But then when it hit home, and then you realize it's the news that's making them out to be the horrible person. You don't know the rest of the story. You don't know what led that person to get where they're at.
These people need help, but prison is not help. Incarceration is not help. Probation by itself is not help. They really need a decent treatment program.
So if we get rid of the 2,000 feet restriction, then you would have people able to find a place to live, be able to maybe even get a job, and to be able to be productive. If you don't give a human being hope, they're going to die. And I know as far as sex offenders, you're probably sitting there going, well, yeah, good, he dies. But wouldn't you rather see some people succeed?
And all the help y'all gonna give us, man, if nobody else can't tell y'all this, I'm gonna tell you from the bottom of my heart. I love y'all. Thank y'all for the good work. Keep it up. And like I say, it's a lot of people that really care and think about us. And that's what make us feel that at least we ain't all alone. We ain't fighting this battle by ourselves. We got somebody up there fighting for us. People just make us feel like we human beings, not no animals.
Because I wanted that voice. I wanted to make the change. And you can't make a change if you're not doing anything.
We need to take the time and have people to go get help for their mental illness. And not just let people fall through the cracks.
I think because people don't talk about it. I think that if people talked more about it and there was less fear, the fear is the dangerous thing. Fear causes people to be desperate and do desperate things, and desperate people do dangerous things. Because somebody wants to control a situation, and they do that because they're afraid of it. They're afraid of it. They're afraid of it happening to their children. They're afraid of their fear for their children, instead of teaching their children. They feel like the easier thing is to just go kill all the sex offenders, or run them out of your neighborhood. Solve the problem. Don't just not allow it to live in your neighborhood.
The last thing I want to do is scare somebody, but How they take the information is on them.